If you've been working hard but not seeing the results you want, you're not alone. Most people focus on just one or two pieces of the fitness puzzle and then wonder why they hit a wall. The truth, long term success in health and fitness comes down to the five key pillars. Miss one, and your progress slows. Nail all five, and your results explode. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through these big five, the exact framework I've used to help hundreds of people get stronger and leaner, healthier, without wasting time on fads, hype, or gimmicks. Let's dive in. The first thing I feel is really what's important with your health and fitness journey is to have a clear, specific goal. So let's do a little goal setting exercise right now. So if you could wave a realistic magic wand and you could achieve your body, your health, your energy, any kind of way you want it to be over the next, say, year or so, what would that do for you? What would that be like for you? Ideally, narrow it down to a specific body weight and body fat percent. Okay. So once you get that, ideally now you have that specific goal that's clear and specific. That's the important thing when setting fitness goals. Then let's wrap it up into an affirmation / prayer. And here it is. I am happy and grateful now that I am, and state your body weight and your body fat percent. Okay. So now that's how you get started. Now the big five are training, nutrition, recovery, supplementation, and mindset. So first, let's take a look at training. So when it comes to training, imagine for a moment that we have a twin-engine airplane. And let's say you have two engines on the airplane. One engine is cardiovascular training program. The other engine is strength training program. So ideally, you want to have both engines going strong as possible. You want to have a quality cardiovascular program going and a quality strength training program going. There's lots of different ways to do it, but just have both going, and that's going to really assist you with your training. Now, when we're coming up with a training program, I feel like there are basically five key principles to consider: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Let's take a look at first at proper form. So why would proper form be so important when building out a good training program? Why would that be so important? Think about it. Think about it. Right. So why would it be important? Two big reasons to consider. One is that so that we exercise the muscles effectively. And two, so that we don't get an injury. So those are two big reasons to consider proper form. And then there's variety into a training program. Why would you want to change it up occasionally? Why not just do the same old training program throughout the whole year? Why change it up periodically? Have you ever heard of a plateau? Right? A lot of times I feel a big reason people hit plateaus is because they don't change their routine around enough. So lack of variety, you'll be hard to make that constant progress. But by keeping variety fresh into your routine, you're going to be continually breaking through the next levels. Plus then too, also, I know a lot of people mentally get bored of doing the same thing over and over again. So by changing it up, can really keep it mentally fresh. Then there's intensity. What comes to mind when you think about exercising with intensity? What comes to mind? Challenging yourself, pushing yourself, right? Imagine for a moment that we're doing chest presses and say we're going for 10 repetitions and we get to 7, 8, 9, and we barely get number 10, but we got number 10. What's the most beneficial part of that set? The first few reps or the last few reps? It might be the last few, right? And why? That's where the overload occurs. That's where the breakdown occurs, right? So be sure to include intensity into your training program. And then there's proper training principles. There's a lot of different training principles to consider. Drop sets, compound sets, supersets, up and down the rack, 21s, rest pause. There's several different principles. Consider sprinkling them into your routine. Go on, look up on Google or ChatGPT and inquire what what are all the different training principles and include them into your routine. Speaking of workouts, I do have a free app that's downloadable, whether you have Android or Apple. Go to your download, whether you go Apple Store Connect or the Google Play Store, search for Workouts for All, Workouts, the number 4, ALL, all together, no spaces. Look for this logo and download, set up a free account. Every week I'm adding different kind of training programs. Home body work with no weights needed training program, traveling program, going to the gym, full body training program, intermediate, beginner, advanced, golf workouts. There's all kind of different workouts. Consider downloading for free, setting up a free account, and take advantage of it. Search for Workouts, the number 4, ALL, Workouts for All, no spaces, and look for that logo. And then the last but not least training principle is the principle of consistency. Now, what comes to mind when you think about training with consistency? Well, think about it. Imagine if you have you and say if you have a twin of you and say you both started off on the same fitness journey. You worked out 4 days a week. You got your rest. You got good nutrition. The other person started off that way, but then skipped a workout here and there, skipped a meal here and there, had some junk food here and there, didn't get the full amount of sleep here and there. At the end of the year, who is going to have the best results? The consistent version of yourself. The power of consistency. So there is the 5 basic principles of a good training program: proper form, variety, intensity, proper training principles, and consistency. Now, let's take a look at nutrition. Imagine for a moment that we want to build a beautiful 2-story house from scratch. And imagine that we only have half the materials necessary to build the house. How far are we going to get? Part of the way, halfway, right? The foods that you and I eat on a daily basis are like the supplies that build our bodies, like the supplies necessary to build the house. So what I recommend eating: consider about 50% of your intake to come from fruits and vegetables, 25% from whole grains, and 25% from plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds. I feel when it comes to nutrition, our body is affected in 4 ways that affects our fitness journey. It affects our metabolism, our energy levels, our insulin levels, and our blood sugar levels. Imagine for a moment that we have a fireplace. And on one hand, we have a stack of oak wood. And on the other hand, we have a stack of paper. Now, not including kindling and getting the fire started, but if you had to choose between the oak wood or the paper to burn in your fireplace consistently all day long, which one would you pick and why? Well, most of us will pick the oak wood. And why? Because it's going to burn longer, slower, more efficiently. So that's why fruits and vegetables and whole grains and plant-based proteins like legumes, lentils, nuts, and seeds burn really slow, really efficient, like that quality oak wood. Let's take a look at recovery. Sleep I've been doing a lot of studies and just learning more about sleep and the benefits and all that. What is being said is that 7.5 to 9 hours sleep is probably the range for most people of sleep to be optimized, and 2 hours of deep, 2 hours of REM. What are some tips to help get that? Consider having the same go to sleep time and same wake up time every day. Consider having your last meal about 2 hours, at least 2 hours before sleep time. The reason is when we eat, it increases our metabolism. When we get an increase in metabolism, we get an increase in our heart rate. As we get closer to sleep time, we want to ideally lower our heart rate. So even some people like to do 3-4 hours to be done eating before sleep time. And just have a cool environment, nice and dark. Put on an eye mask if that works for you. That's what I do. Everybody's different. And just get a good night's sleep every night consistently. At least give yourself what's called sleep opportunity time. Have the same amount of sleep. At least be in the bed long enough to get the desired amount of sleep. All right. So now so that's on sleep. If you have any questions, let me know. Let's take a look at supplementation. So when it comes to supplementation, I feel like there are basically 2 different categories of supplementation: nutritional supplementation and enhancement performance supplementation. Nutritional supplementation is like a meal replacement shake, protein shakes, bars. Enhancement performance supplements is like creatine, prescription medications can fall in this category. Remember, the basics is exercise, nutrition, recovery. Those are the big 3. Then supplementation. And then we're going to cap it off with mindset. When it comes to mindset, consider that your mind controls your body, not the other way around. Our minds control our body. I decide how many times on Sunday, I decide how many exercise sessions I'm going to get in. And when it comes time to do it, my mind tells my body to do it. If in the moment I don't feel like doing it in the moment, that doesn't get an option. That's not an option. I'm telling myself I'm going to do this many workout weight sessions, this many cardio sessions. I'm going to go to sleep this many hours. That's mindset. Your mind tells your body what to do, not the other way around. So I want to leave you with this mindset tip. It's the affirmation that we started the first part of the video. Once you have your goal, ideally narrow your goal down to a very clear, very specific body weight and body fat percent. Now I have my numbers. I'm going to use myself as an example. You plug in your numbers. This exercise is for you. I am happy and grateful now that I am at least 190 pounds and at or below 10% body fat. That's my daily affirmation. That's my daily prayer. Think about it, the power of that. I'm thinking and in reality, today I'm probably about 182, so I'm trying to gain about 8 to 10 more pounds of muscle. That's my goal, right? But in the moment, as I'm saying the goal, I'm saying I am happy and grateful right now. I'm feeling that I'm 190 and at or below 10% body fat, feeling strong and healthy. And you can go on. There's much more you can do with affirmations, but that's the beginning part. And I want you to consider using that in your daily life, setting it up because you're using gratitude. I am happy and grateful. You're feeling grateful, which is known as a high vibration emotion. I am happy and grateful now that I am, and then plug in your body weight and body fat percent. Now that you know the big five, the next step is applying them to your life. If you're ready to stop guessing and start progressing, I'm offering a complimentary consultation where we'll map out a custom plan built for your body, your schedule, and your goals. Click the link in the description and let's get you moving forward, stronger, healthier, and more confident than ever before. Your best self is waiting. Let's go make it happen. Remember that health is wealth. Be blessed, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.